They were the most unified, most dangerous force in music, a brotherhood that took on the world and won. But what happens when the enemy isn't the police or the FBI, but the man standing next to you? The story of N.W.A.'s rise is famous, but the story of their fall is a dark, twisted epic of money, betrayal, and creative warfare. It sparked a hip-hop civil war, and at its center was a single song so ruthless, so personal, it's still considered the final word in lyrical combat. This is Untold Bars, and today we're dissecting the breakup of N.W.A. and the diss track that destroyed an empire, No Vaseline. The problem started, as it so often does, with money. Ice Cube was the group's chief lyricist. He penned most of Eazy-E's iconic verses and was the narrative architect of Straight Outta Compton. He was the creative fire. But when the royalty checks came in, the numbers didn't add up. After writing an album that sold millions, Ice Cube was paid about $32,000. Meanwhile, group manager Jerry Heller and label owner Eazy-E were living lavishly. The untold bar here isn't just that Cube was underpaid, it's that he was the first to realize the system was rigged against the artist. He saw Jerry Heller not as a manager, but as a divider. He asked to see the books, he lawyered up, and when he was denied, he walked away. In 1989, at the absolute peak of their fame, N.W.A.'s most powerful voice went silent. N.W.A. tried to act like they didn't need him. On their 1990 EP, they fired the first shots, calling Cube a Benedict Arnold and questioning his street credibility. They underestimated him. While they were throwing playground insults, Ice Cube went to New York, linked up with Public Enemy's production team, the Bomb Squad, and created a solo masterpiece, America's Most Wanted. It was a commercial and critical smash hit. It proved that Cube wasn't just a piece of N.W.A., he was the heart. For a year, Cube took the high road, refusing to fire back directly. The world waited, and then N.W.A. released their next album, E Fouls Again. And they made a fatal mistake. They dedicated multiple lines to dissing him again. They poked the bear one too many times. Ice Cube's response is, to this day, the nuclear option of diss tracks, No Vaseline. It appeared on his second album, Death Certificate. And it was pure annihilation. This wasn't just a diss, it was a strategic 4-minute dismantling of his former group. He starts by mocking their claims of being hard, calling them studio gangsters. Then he dedicates a verse to each member, calling out their specific betrayals. But the final verse is where he dropped the atom bomb. He turned his sights on Jerry Heller and Eazy-E. He weaponized the very pro-black identity N.W.A. was built on and accused Eazy-E of being a puppet for a white manager who was exploiting them all. He used Heller's Jewish heritage in a way that was and remains deeply controversial. But in the context of the beef, it was the kill shot. He painted a picture of Eazy-E as a traitor to his own people. There was no coming back from this. No Vaseline didn't just win the war, it salted the earth so nothing could ever grow there again. The song was so controversial, it was banned in the UK and led to protests from watchdog groups. But in the streets, the verdict was in. Ice Cube had won. The shrapnel from No Vaseline blew the rest of the group apart. Dr. Dre, the sonic genius, started looking at the contracts himself. He realized Ice Cube had been right all along. With the help of the intimidating Suge Knight, Dr. Dre muscled his way out of his contract with Ruthless Records and co-founded Death Row Records. The hip-hop civil war had a new front. Dre would go on to release The Chronic, an album that not only defined the 90s, but also continued the war, relentlessly dissing Eazy-E on tracks like Dre Day. N.W.A. was officially dead, torn apart from the inside by greed and betrayal. The story has a tragic postscript. Eazy-E, after launching his own disses, passed away from AIDS in 1995, reportedly reconciling with Dre and Cube shortly before his death. The breakup of N.W.A. is a cautionary tale, but it's also one of hip-hop's most important creation stories. The conflict gave us Ice Cube's legendary solo career. It created Death Row Records. It led to Dr. Dre discovering Snoop Dogg and Eminem. The war may have destroyed the world's most dangerous group, but the creative explosions from its demise built the foundation of modern hip-hop. What do you think is the greatest diss track of all time? No Vaseline? Ether? Hit 'em up? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to Untold Bars for more legendary stories.